Welcome to our channel, everyone. My name is Amin. I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. And today's video, we're actually dedicating to students. And the reason is that the last few videos we made about business immigration, a lot of students reached out to us asking for more videos to be made regarding the study visa process for Canada. Today's video, we're actually going to explain you the entire process from starting to end. That would include applying for the university or college, selecting a course, then applying for the study visa itself and getting your tickets. So if you are interested in studying in Canada and you want to know about the process, stay tuned because this video is going to bring you all the right information you need to apply for a study visa for Canada. Alright, so let's start with the video. And I understand that study visa applications for most people are going to be a huge deal in their life, and it's going to be a life-turning event for a lot of people as well because of the money involved and because of the career opportunities you're going to get in the future. So the applications we have done so far, based on that, we have divided this process into 7 steps. And if you understand these 7 steps and you follow them correctly, you would very likely end up with a successful study visa application, and you will be in Canada studying your dream course and getting into your dream career. So the steps which we have broken down, the first one is the course selection, then the documents which you are going to need to start the application. Then we have the college university application submission, then accepting the letter of invitation or letter of acceptance from the college, then applying for the study visa. Once you get the study visa application done, then you will do you will get the passport request, and last, once you get your visa stamped on your passport, then you book for your tickets, which is probably the easiest step of all. But let's speak about the rest 6 steps one by one. That way you'll understand the importance of each step and why doing the steps correctly would make a huge difference in your application. So let's start with the course selection. This is one of the most important steps in study visa applications, and a lot of students who want to come to Canada really ignore this step and they leave it to one of the immigration consultants or immigration agents to take care of this step on behalf of them. The problem there is that if you yourself do not get involved in the course selection and you don't understand what you really want to do, it becomes very difficult for any immigration consultant to suggest you a right course, and the people who are out there just to take your money away from you, they're just going to give you a random course which you might not even be successful in when you come to Canada. So course selection is a very important factor. The difference we do when we do any study visa applications is that we get the right information from the student. We then speak to them and understand what their career goals are. Based on that, we will then identify the right course for them. So you will see the first point is the eligibility based on your scores. So once we understand that what your scores for your education are, then your IELTS scores, and then your goals, and then we identify which is the course which is going to best suit your needs, and then we only pitch that course to you. Then we look at the province, because every province has their own different rules for permanent residency. Some have a longer period of time after which you get a permanent residency. Some you will get the permanent residency faster. So based on what your goals are, and if you have family in that province or if you have friends in a specific province, we take that into account and suggest you a course accordingly. Then the job market analysis, right? Because every job in every province is different, right? If you are in an Ontario region where you are working in the majority in the technical sector, right, and technology sector, if there are more jobs in Ontario for technology sector, there is no point taking a technology course in Nova Scotia where you might not even find a right job over there. So those kind of things we take into account when selecting a college and a course for you. The last again is the permanent residency possibilities, because certain courses and certain level of education, if you get, for example, in certain provinces, if you do a PhD or master courses, they will right away give you permanent residency after you complete your courses. So things like that, combination of all 4 of them, eligibility based on your scores, the province you want to go to, job market analysis, and the permanent residency possibility. So you combine all of them, that will present the right college and the right course for you, which is going to benefit you in your career, which is also going to benefit you in getting your permanent residency. And if everything matches correctly, it becomes easier for IRCC to give you a study visa approval as well. Okay, moving on to the next point, let's speak about the documents you require to apply for the college or university in Canada. First one is you are going to need a passport. It's funny that still a lot of people call us for study visa applications, and when we ask for their documents, they haven't even applied for their passport. So you gotta understand yourself that if you want to travel to another country, passport is your travel document. So you at least need to have your passport to think about traveling to another country first of all. Okay, then you get your education certificates and transcripts, which basically means that if you have done your class 10, class +2, then bachelor's, diploma or master's or PhD, whichever education you have, you need to have the right transcripts that you have passed those courses, and a certificate issued from your diploma, degree, master's or PhD institute saying that yes, we authorize this person has completed this diploma. The next one is backlog certificate. This is not a document which all of the universities and all of the colleges across the globe are going to provide, but if your university or your college provides a backlog certificate, ask them to get you one, because in a situation where you have a backlog, you cleared it, or you never had a backlog certificate is going to be required by certain colleges and universities in Canada to assure that you do not have any pending backlogs in your course. Then the education credential assessment. So the reason why the colleges and universities are going to require for an ECA documentation is because certain colleges, universities across the globe, they are known for forging documents. Not the universities, but certain people in certain countries, they have forged documents for certain universities and colleges. So they do not really take that into account that any university document is going to be real. So to authorize that if a document you are going to present to Canadian college or university is real, they need to be accompanied by an education credential assessment, and two organizations which usually do the education credential assessment or ECA or WES or IQAS. I'm going to leave their link in the description section down below as well. So in a situation where you want to get your ECA done, you can click on those links, create your account and get the ECA process started. Then the language proficiency results. A lot of people ask us that, hey, can I get admission into a Canadian college without IELTS? The answer is yes, only in certain situations. If you are from an English speaking country, then you do not need an IELTS test. But if you are from a country where English is not the first language, you do need an IELTS test or a CELPIP test, or some colleges, universities also accept Duolingo test as well. But IRCC wouldn't accept Duolingo. So when you do your study visa application, then you need your IELTS. Okay. So if you are 6 and above, you're going to be okay for majority of the colleges, and if you're 7 and above, you're going to be okay for majority of the universities. But some colleges also accept 6 overall, which is maximum 5.5 in one of the modules. So you can have 5.5 in listening and 6 each in rest, and overall 6. You still will be able to apply to certain colleges, but that limits your options for colleges and universities. So the answer to make your options wide enough, you got to make sure that you have your IELTS test and minimum 6.5 to 7, and that will make you eligible for pretty much every college or university. Then your resume. It's not a mandatory requirement for all of the colleges or universities, but depending upon what type of a course you want to apply to, some of them would ask you for a resume, and some eventually may ask you for a letter of explanation as well, that why you really want to get admission into that specific course in that specific university or college. So be prepared to write that in a situation where one of the colleges or university you want to get into, they want that document. We will definitely help you in writing that one as well. Okay, so once you have all of your documentations prepared, the next step is to apply to the university or the college. So we do have access to about 80% of the colleges and universities in Canada, and we can apply on your behalf. And usually they have an application fees of anything between $100 to $200, right? If you go into majority of the colleges, they are around $150. So you pay that application fees. and we submit all of your documentation to the universities and the colleges, and they take about one to 1.5 months to review all of the applications and either accept or decline your application. In a situation where they want more documentation, they are going to let us know, and we'll get that documentation from you and submit it to the university. So once all of that information is submitted, and then you get the letter of acceptance. So when you get a letter of acceptance, it's going to have the information for the college, the course you are going to take, the intake which you are going to be applying for, and the amount of money which is going to be the tuition fees for you and any other fees which is going to be applicable. And they're going to also give you a deadline before which you have to accept the offer, and they're going to give you another deadline before which you have to pay a minimum amount of fees to reserve your seat. Usually when this situation happens, now there is something which is called student direct stream and a regular stream. Alright, so let's speak about the student direct stream. There are certain requirements which a student must fulfill to be eligible to apply under the student direct stream. The first one is the residency or nationality of the student. So on your screen you will see a list of the countries. If you are from one of these countries and you're living there right now, you'll be able to apply under the student direct stream. That's the first requirement. The countries are Antigua, Brazil, China, Colombia, Costa Rica, India, Morocco, Pakistan, Peru, Philippines, Senegal, St. Vincent, Trinidad, Tobago, and Vietnam. So if you're from one of these countries, you will be able to be eligible for the student direct stream. So other than the nationalities, the other requirements are that you have to have an acceptance letter from post-secondary designated learning institute. So you cannot just get admission into any college and apply for a student direct stream. It has to be an offer letter from a designated learning institute, and I'll leave the link down below in the description section where you can go find that if you're at the university or college you're applying to, is it a DLI or not. Then you need to be living outside of Canada when you apply. So to be eligible for student direct stream, you have to be outside Canada. If you're inside Canada, your application will be submitted as a regular application. It will not be a fast processing. So here I'll explain what is the difference between the student direct stream and the other regular stream. Is that immigration officers would take the student direct stream applications as a priority, and they on their website it mentions that they are going to review their application and give an approval or decline the application within 20 days of receiving the biometrics. So if you do an application and you complete your biometrics within the 20 days, you will either get an acceptance or a rejection letter from IRCC. The next point is that you have to prove that you have paid the tuition fees for first year of study. So that is why in the previous slide I mentioned that if you are paying the fees for the college, it's important to understand if you are going to be eligible for a student direct stream, and if you are from one of the countries and you fulfill all the other requirements, it makes sense to pay the 1 year fees and get a faster processing. But if you are going to be not able to apply under the student direct stream, you should be okay by paying at least 1 semester fees as well if the university or the college allows you to do that. Then you have to have a guaranteed investment certificate, which is GIC account, with a minimum of $10,000 deposited into it. So GIC is usually an account which is going to be a Canadian bank, and the $10,000 money invested or deposited in that account will be slowly released to you when you come to Canada and you're continuing your studies in Canada. So the next one is to get a medical exam before you apply, and in brackets you can see that it's written if you need one. So I'll leave the information for the requirement of medical examination in the description section down below. But if you are living in a certain country for a stretch of 6 months before coming to Canada, then you would need a medical exam. So you can check the list of those countries in the description section down below. And the next one is a police certificate before you apply, and a similar situation applies that if you are coming to Canada for more than 6 months, then you definitely need a police certificate. Okay, the last one is to have a language test result. We've already spoken about that even before you apply to a Canadian college or university, if you're not from an English speaking country, you're going to need an English language test. And same applies here, that if you are going to apply for IRCC to get a study permit and a study visa, you're going to need to submit your IELTS test results if you are not if you're not from an English speaking country. Okay, next, when you apply for a visa, there is an online process to do the application. You need to make a CIC account, cic.gc.ca. you gotta go there and make an account. We will do that on behalf of you if you are our clients. And then once the account is made, you fill in all your information and submit the documentation and the statement of purpose. Now the statement of purpose is a very, very important document when you apply for a study visa. The reason is, any temporary permit or a temporary visa IRCC is going to issue to you, they're going to see your intent to come to Canada, your intent to go back to your home country after your visa stay is finished, your ties to Canada, your ties to the home country, and reasoning for selecting whatever course you're selecting, and your financial status. So all of that information has to be explained very clearly to IRCC that yes, I want to come to Canada to study this specific course. What is my reasoning behind that? And if there is a study gap between your last education and now, for example, if you have not been studying for the last 6 years, you have to explain what you've been doing for the last 6 years. And if you now decided to study in Canada, that what is your reasoning to decide to study right now. Then you have to explain your ties to your home country and give a very valid reason that why you will go back to your home country after your study permit is going to be completed. Then biometrics. The biometrics is giving your fingerprint and your picture at a IRCC authorized location, wherein you're going to give that information so the IRCC can do a background criminal check on you. So the timeline, the way it works is that the day you submit your visa, within 3 to 4 days, IRCC is going to give you a BIL, biometrics information letter. And using that BIL letter, you can go into the biometric centers across the globe, whichever is the closest to you and whichever you are able to book an appointment. And between the BIL letter, you would have 30 days from the day you get the letter to complete your biometrics. So this is becoming more and more tricky every year because these biometrics appointments are selling out so fast. So people are not really getting the biometrics appointments for 30, 40, or even 50 to 60 days, right? So plan that accordingly and figure out a way how you're going to acquire your BIL biometrics appointment, and then apply the visa accordingly so that your appointment falls within 30 days. In worst case scenario, if you're not able to find an appointment within 30 days, and then what you can do is you can write a web form, a letter to IRCC explaining why you're not able to get the BIL appointment within that 30 days and ask for an exemption for the 30-day rule. And in many situations we have applied for web forms for our clients, and IRCC has replied with an approval saying that hey, please continue with whatever appointment you have received, because even they understand in certain countries getting a biometrics appointment is a very, very big deal. Okay, so next, once you do the biometrics appointment, all you got to do is just wait for IRCC to look at your application, either approve or deny it. The best case scenario, they're going to approve it and they will send you a passport request letter. So when the passport request letters comes to you, there are going to be instruction on where to send that passport to get your visa stamped on it. Now you have to understand, a visa and a study permit are two different things. Visa is for the purpose of travel and entry to Canada. Study permit is a permit authorizing you to study in Canada. So there are going to be two separate papers. One, visa is going to be stamped on your passport, and study permit is going to be a piece of paper, A4 size, given to you, which will say who you are, what's your UCI number, what is the permit you have, how long are you authorized to stay in Canada on that permit, and there is going to be an expiry date. Before that date, you should either leave Canada or apply for a work permit or a study permit extension, depending upon your situation. So once all of that happens and you get your study permit and your visa, that's your last step. You can go ahead and book your tickets and then come to Canada and start studying in the course, which will definitely, if you have selected it correctly, change your life. Okay, so having said that, this is all the steps, and if you do them correctly, very likely you're going to get a Canadian study visa. And you have to understand that even if you have a perfect file, IRCC is known to decline study visas for various reasons. Even if everything is done correctly, very likely they might say that I'm not convinced you will go back because of your purpose of visit. I'm not convinced you will go back because of your ties to home country. I'm not convinced because you will go back because of A, B, C reasons. So I've actually made a video on different reasons why these visas get rejected and how you can overcome them. So if you apply for a study visa and if you get rejected, don't get demotivated. You can always reapply and understand the reason why IRCC declined it the first time and try to explain that the rebuttal or the reasoning to overcome that that rejection. Okay, so that is all I wanted to say in this video. Thank you very much for watching. If you like the content, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends, because I know that there is a lot of white noise and incorrect information on YouTube, and a lot of people are actually yearning to get the right information sent over to them. So if you can help somebody with the right information, please do so. And thank you very much for watching this video. Stay safe and enjoy the holidays.